Hello everybody. As you can see, I'm not been feeling well lately. I've been really struggling lately with my health and some other things. But that's par for the course when you're floxed. So today's topic is grief. There's so many models out there on grief, but I think the one that's the most widely known is the Kubler-Ross model, with her 5 stages of grief of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Her model acknowledges that not everybody's journey is linear. You don't go through one stage at a time. For most of us, our grief journeys are all over the place. You may skip a step, return to a step 40 times. No one's experience is the same. How long you grieve and how long you stay in a stage of grief is yours and yours alone. So for people that make you feel like you're staying too long in a certain place, or sometimes you may feel like you're staying too long in a certain place, it's probably because you're not ready to move to the next stage, or you don't have the tools to do that. Maybe you're just stuck. One of the books during my journey that has helped me significantly is called The Gift by Dr. Edith Eger. She was an Auschwitz concentration camp survivor. And after she survived that atrocity, she went on to become a doctor, a psychologist, and wrote a series of books. The Gift is one of them. And in that book, Dr. Eger explains that the worst prison she experienced is not the prison that the put her in. I don't know if I can say that word on TikTok. But it's the one she created for herself, the prison within her own mind. That was pretty powerful to me when I read that. And I think that that's something that most of us with a chronic illness understand. She describes these 12 imprisoning beliefs she has known, including fear, grief, anger, secrets, stress, guilt, shame, avoidance. And then she also discusses the tools that she discovered to deal with these challenges. Her book is so encouraging, and through those 12 imprisoning beliefs that she experienced, she provides advice for all of us to break out of our personal prisons, to find healing. One of my favorite lessons in this book that I need to revisit is number 12, the prison of not forgiving. Dr. Eger explains that forgiveness isn't something we do for others, it's something we do for ourselves. And it's not about cutting someone out, it's about letting go. She says, it's not okay that you are harmed, but it's already done. And no one but you can heal. Forgiveness is how you release yourself. And you may have heard me say this before in other videos. There's no forgiveness without rage, because what comes out of our body is not what makes us sick. It's what stays inside that does. If you remember, on my 3-year Floxiversary, I wrote a rage letter to release some of that anger, and that's because of the lessons that I've learned in this book. She talks about how she lost something that she didn't want to lose, and she didn't have a choice. It's like so many of us. This one really hits home. She explains that when you have anger, you need to burn through it to get through what's underneath, and usually what's underneath is either grief or fear. And we need to acknowledge our rage in order to release it. In her book, she actually says, make a rage date and keep making these dates to let it out. And this entails legitimizing your anger, then learning how to channel it, and ultimately resolving it. I'm saying this like it's going to be this process that you just do this, this, and that. It's really not that simple. It's much more complicated. It takes a long time to happen. And finally, she says, get the rage out. Don't stop until there's nothing left. And finally, forgive yourself. This is where I'm stuck. And I know many people out there are too. Earlier, I talked about the Kubler-Ross model, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I think as someone that's been floxed, we stay in denial for a long time. Obviously because we can't believe what's happened to us, but the other part is because we don't actually understand what is happening to us. There's so much confusion at that time that you can't wrap your head around anything. You have no idea what's happening to you. How could you possibly move on to any other stage? You can't do anything once you get past the point where you figure out what happened to you. And even then, can't believe that an antibiotic could do so much harm. For me, I know I spent a lot of time in denial. I spent a little bit of time in anger. But because I went on hospice 5 months later, I catapulted all the way to acceptance. and I skipped all the steps. There was no bargaining for me. Yeah, there was some depression, but boom, right to acceptance I went, because I was told, and I believed, actually agreed, that I was not going to make it, that I was not going to be here anymore. And I needed to come to acceptance to make sure I had a peaceful exit. That's what I kept telling myself. I need to accept this so I can move on. Not in this life, the next one. What? Didn't happen. Here I am. Now I'm back all over the place with the stages. And one of the stages I'm at right now is anger. I'm thinking about Dr. Eager's book. I know that under my anger is grief. A lot of unresolved grief I need to come to terms with. And I know a lot of you do too, because you message me and your stories resonate with me so much because I'm in the same place as you, emotionally, anyway. Like I said before, the journey of grief is not a linear process, just like any healing journey is not a linear process. However long it takes you to get through it is how long it takes you. And I'm definitely at that point where I don't care what anybody says. I have my tunnel vision on, and I need to do what I need to do to get better, to deal with my unresolved feelings. Then I don't care what anybody else says or thinks. So yeah, you'll see my videos where I am angry, and you'll continue to see those videos because that's my rage date. I'm letting it out, and I'm going to keep letting it out till there's nothing left, because I know that's what I need to do to heal. I just want to say to my friends out there, to all of my followers, supporters who are going through this too, I see you, I hear you. As one of my dear friends says, I'm holding the line for you. And through my next set of videos on this topic, I really hope that it'll help us get through it together. It's okay to be angry. That's all I got. Thanks, everybody.